funny one. Once in a while, I get one of these that I would never ask this because I don't really care. But I told Doreen yesterday, I said, there's a bunch of questions that I don't really want to ask because I don't really need that answer. But then I start to put it aside and I think, well, wait a minute. Several people keep asking me this, so I'm going to ask it.
Yes.
Okay. I don't really care if there's bugs in heaven, but people want to know. Here's the question. Are there bugs in heaven? Insects. I mean, some people might like them, and so does that mean they are there? What about reptiles, frogs, lizards, bees, tarantulas?
Well, I think all of the ones you mentioned just then are all in heaven. There's dinosaurs in heaven. It even mentions it already mentions about creatures. It already mentions about a snake. Okay, it talks about a child will put his hand into the home of an aspen and won't bite him. So it talks about certain animals that are called creatures in heaven, by the way. So if I call them creatures, I'm talking about what we call animals on the earth. And
Right.
yes, they're there, except there are some insects that are not there. Flies are not there. Mosquitoes are not there. And roaches are not there. I think they all went to hell.
That's very good news.
But almost everything else, the spiders are harmful. Some of them even talk to you. The creatures talk. Deer will walk up to you and talk. There's the dinosaurs will even talk in heaven. Nothing is vicious. There's no hate. There's no violence of any kind in heaven. So none of these animals I'm talking or insects, they won't hurt you. There's certainly a place called Butterfly Field where the women will be invited to beautiful events in the throne room, and they walk out there and these beautiful butterflies filled with gold and platinum and emeralds and stuff will attach themselves, and your gown becomes this beautiful living clouds of butterflies that attach themselves. And when they move their wings, it just shoots rays of glory off of them. So these are things we never thought of. So some of them have a real purpose, they're like decoration. So yes, there's many of those things are in heaven. Your pets are in heaven. Horses everywhere. Unicorns are there. They're mentioned 9 times in the Bible. So, if you don't like my talking about this, you'll get over it one day when you show up in heaven and you find out all of that is real.
It's amazing how lack of knowledge we have for years. I remember this in the 80s. I'd see unicorns and I would say to myself, that's not of the Lord. That's the rest of the enemy. I didn't realize it was 9 times in the Bible unicorns were actually mentioned. I had no idea. So we can be pretty ignorant sometimes. So unicorns with the horn growing out of the head.
Yes, and the Father that's what he rides when he rides. And people think he's glued to the throne. Guess what? He's not. The Father is not glued to the throne. He gets up and goes and does things sometimes in heaven with different people who've just arrived. And so does Jesus. Jesus has a horse. His name is Lightning, and he has a rainbow mane and tail. And many people, not just me, but many people have seen that horse in heaven, have seen him. Even children who've been caught up have seen that horse in heaven. The Holy Spirit's horse's name is Thunder. And he's black. He has fire coming off of his mane. And so these things that we love to do down here on earth. If you've never gone horseback riding, make sure you know what you're doing. But it is the most heavenly experience to me, almost like you're floating. And it's a beautiful thing. God talks about the horse in the Bible, about how he made it and how it pleases him to see the horses. And how they're fearless, because even in Israel's days, they rode horses into battle. It even talks about that horse doesn't flinch, even going into battle. They're fearless. They're beautifully made. So, of course, they're there, but just about every other kind of animal there is here on earth, it does exist in heaven.
And that's true about the riding a horse. When I went to college, I took the horsemanship class, and I went to horsemanship competitions to watch it, not to be in it. And it is true. It's like floating. If you've never ridden a horse, it's like floating. And I used to think, again, back in my ignorant days, that, after sin fell, and then we made these beasts of burdens, and we made them work when they weren't meant to work. No, they were made to give ride.